Hey, fourth graders, Mr. Klingon here. So I'm going to be teaching you lesson 4 of our current math module, our current math unit. And this is going to be kind of like an overview of some of the different multiplication models that we have studied and that you might use when you're solving multiplication problems, okay? So I'm going to introduce a problem and then I'll talk about some different ways we could solve it, okay? So here's the first one. It says, how many crayons? Okay, let's say we got a box of crayons here. Okay, we could count one by one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just count each and every little crayon here. But using multiplication is a much quicker way to do that if we know how many crayons are in each row and how many rows we have. Okay, so I see in each row we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 crayons. And I see there are 3 rows. So we have 3 rows of 8, okay? So written as a multiplication problem, we can think about it like 3 times 8, okay? 3 rows of 8. So the first method that I want to show you is a number line, okay? And some people also think of this like a way to skip count, okay? So 3 times 8, you could think about that like 3 groups of 8. So if I have a number line and I start at 0, that means I'm going to add 8 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. And I need to figure out what is that I'm landing on there, okay? So we can count by 8s. So 0 add 8 is 8, okay? Add 8 more. You could count on your fingers if you want to. 8 times, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, okay? Maybe some of us can do some of these in our head, all right? 16 add 8 more is 24, okay? So I know that 3 times 8 equals 24 crayons, okay? That's one way to solve it. Now, another way to solve it, and I believe this is what Miss Herman showed you yesterday, would be with a ratio table. So this is kind of like a T-chart, okay? And you want to think about, well, what are my 2 categories here? So we have rows of crayons, and then the number, how many crayons are in each row. So in 1 row of crayons, there are 8 crayons. In 2 rows of crayons, well, that's going to be 2 8s, 8 and another more 8, would be 16 crayons. And in 3 rows, okay, hopefully you're seeing every time we're adding 8. We're adding 8 here, okay, to find the total. That'd be 24. So again, there's our answer, 24 crayons, 3 rows of 8, okay? You could also think about this like an array, okay? You could make what that would be, all right? So you could make 3 rows of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay? You could also think about this instead of 3 by 8, you could think, okay, well, I'm going to split that 8 down the middle here and think of this as 3 groups of 4 and another 3 groups of 4. So 3 groups of 4 is 12. Another 3 groups of 4 is 12 more. You could add those together and get 24. That's another way to look at this array. Okay? And lastly would be the area model. Okay? Now this will come in really handy once we start doing double-digit multiplication. But for right now, you can think about if this was a rectangle and the measurements were 3 by 8, okay, the area of this rectangle would be 24 units squared, Okay, so lots of different ways to solve the problem. Okay, let's see with some other problems how we might solve this. Okay, all right. Next problem, problem 2. I see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, and each row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 rows, 8 crayons per row. Okay, so let's see. Let's look back at our options. I could do some skip counting on a number line. I could use a ratio table, an array, an area. Let's do that ratio table. Okay, so I'm going to form a T-chart again. Okay, so here's the rows, and then this is like the number of crayons. Okay, so one row would have 8 crayons per row. 2 rows would have 16 crayons per row, or crayons altogether. 3 rows would have 24 crayons. This is a lot like how we did last time, right? Now, I know that I can keep going 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows, but let's see if I can take a little bit of a shortcut here. I'm going to jump down to 6 rows. Remember, that's what I'm trying to find out, is how many crayons that's going to be. Now, to get from 3 rows to 6 rows, that's like doubling my answer. Okay? So I know that if the amount of rows is doubling, that the amount of crayons is also going to double. So I can double 24, which means having 2 number 24s. Okay? I see that's 8 ones, 4 ones and 4 ones is 8 ones. 2 tens and 2 tens is 4 tens. 4 tens and 8 ones gives me a total of 48. So this would equal 48 crayons. Okay? All right. You're going to be working on some problems that are pretty similar today. Okay? Some are going to be crayon problems like this, and some are going to be word problems like this. Okay? Let's try one word problem before I send you off to try some on your own. Okay? So here's a word problem. The kids at table E have 9 pencils in the supply box they share. The kids at table F have 3 times that many pencils in their supply box. How many pencils do the kids at table F have in their supply box? That's a long paragraph. I a lot of times like to have my first step be write down the important information. So, table E, 9 pencils. And write E equals 9 pencils. The kids at table F have 3 times that many pencils. So F is going to be 9 pencils times 3. Okay? So maybe this time I decide I'm going to use some skip counting. Okay? I'm going to use a number line kind of skip counting system. So here's my number line. Okay? We're starting at 0. We need to add 9 3 times. So that means we're going to add 9 once, add 9 a second time, add 9 a third time, okay? So if I start at 0 and add 9, I'm at 9. If I add 9 more, it's okay to count your fingers. Just hold up 9 fingers and count each one of them, okay? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18, okay? Add 9 more on 18, and you'll get 27. Okay, so our answer here would be 27 pencils. Okay, so you're going to notice each of these situations is like a multiplication situation. Just listen to this one. You're going to hear that word times in there. Okay, that'll tell you that it's a multiplication situation. Mrs. Carter has 4 pens in a cup on her desk. She has 5 times that many pens in her desk drawer. how many pens does Mrs. Carter have in her desk drawer? So similar problem, different numbers, okay? So now you are going to do, in your math packet that you've been working on this week, you are going to do pages 7 and 8. Okay, so page 7 is called More Crayons. There's some pictures, a table, there's a number line with skip counting. There's also a little bit of addition subtraction practice at the bottom, okay? Then next you're going to do page 8, the very last page. I know it's kind of confusing. It does say 2 at the bottom. Really think of that as page 8, okay? So it's this multiplication drills, just a lot of multiplication problems for practice, all right? After you've done pages 7 and 8 in your packet, then you're going to do Dreambox, okay? And we always do at least one activity. Okay, happy solving.